I go back? Can I go back, please?
We learned this week that in the United States, land of opportunity, 34 criminal convictions, a bathroom stacked with stolen classified documents, and a complete inability to utter a coherent sentence need be no impediment to aspiring to the presidency. We learned that Grover Cleveland's claim on uniqueness as the only individual elected to non-consecutive stints in the White House had been revoked, as American voters once again placed, and speaking on behalf of all of humanity, thanks, in Earth's most powerful office, this guy.
We're a dumping ground. We're like a garbage can for the world.
Still, we apparently learned that the sinister cabal of George Soros-funded deep state plotters who rigged the 2020 presidential election in a bid to thwart the people's will simply decided not to bother this year, which was either big-hearted or short-sighted of them. We learned that, for some scarcely fathomable reason, President-elect Donald Trump and his fulminating acolytes had abruptly desisted with this line of complaint, almost as if they'd never really believed in it in the first place. We learned also, and very much not for the first time, that it is always probably unwise to underestimate the Democratic Party's talent for putting a clear shot on an open goal into the top deck, missing the barn door with a handful of gravel,
God damn it,
and swinging at a cow's hindquarters with a banjo, and missing. We learned that it wasn't just that the Democrats had been beaten, again and convincingly, by an almost parodically unqualified opponent. They'd come up shorter than they hoped even among the demographics which they had, on form or at least assumption, taken for granted. We learned that the Democrats lost surprising numbers of Latinos to someone promising to deport Latinos, a hefty chunk of Puerto Ricans to someone whose warm-up comedian called their home an island of garbage, an arresting cohort of metropolitan urbanites to someone who has spent his political career deriding them as snobby elitists, and really quite startling quantities of women to someone whose record on the subject requires no recapitulation. Not that recapitulating it would do much apparent good anyway. But we did learn, however, precisely which demographic cohort was most to blame, at least in the view of one commentator who had identified the little-discussed pathway from plaid shirts, regrettable goatees and whining over loud guitars to electing a swivel-eyed authoritarian whose favourite band is the Village People.
My generation, Generation X, the people who grew up on WWE and Hulk Hogan and Donald Trump, did this.
For a response to this calumny, we turn to Monocle's Generation X desk chief, Tom Edwards.
Oh, whatever, man. See if I care. Leave me alone.
All in all, we may have learned, or had drummed into us one more time, the eternal sagacity of H.L. Mencken's definition of democracy.
The theory that the common people know what they want and deserve to get it, good and hard.
We also learned,
after months of campaigning, the polls indicate a race that is still too close to call,
that from here on we should probably afford opinion polling as a guide to adjusting our expectations or betting our wagers, approximately the same respect we do the scattering of runes, the reading of entrails, or the aim of a chimpanzee at a dartboard. Although we would, of course, need to keep any such simian sidekick well away from...
I'm going to advise the water districts about their legal liability, their legal obligation to their service zones and to their constituents, and I'm going to give them good information about the science, and I think that fluoride will disappear.
For one thing we have already learned about the second Trump administration is that it will have a place for whale beheading bear corpse dumper Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
We can add a few names like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He came in. And he's going to help make America healthy again.
And we learned that one means by which RFK2 proposes to do that is removing fluoride from the water supply, possibly as part of some playing field levelling endeavour to make American teeth look as bad as everyone else's. From which we learn that perhaps one silver lining, or perhaps we should say silver filling, in the cloud is the fortunes that might be made investing in toothpaste. Make America gape again. Is that anything? For Monocle Radio, I'm Andrew Muller.